Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Acura's all-new ADX, a compact SUV that isn't just built for one thing. It's precision crafted for everything. To escape the grind with available all-wheel drive. To go with your flow with available Google built-in.
Hey Google, turn it up.
Okay, turning up the volume. And crafted to be heard with an available Bang & Olufsen premium sound system. The all-new Acura ADX, crafted to match your energy. Acura, precision crafted performance.
Take your vibes on go.
Google is a trademark of Google LLC.
Parents of tweens, if you're familiar with far-off drop-offs...
Dad, stop, right here.
Or get DMs about what's for dinner, you may be experiencing tween milestones. For your son or daughter, these can start at age 9. HPV vaccination, a type of cancer prevention against certain HPV-related cancers, can start then too.
For most, HPV clears on its own. But for those who don't clear the virus, it can cause certain cancers later in life.
Embrace this phase. Help protect them in the next.
Ask their doctor today about HPV vaccination. Brought to you by Merck.
From the Fifth Quarter Studio in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to High School Hoops with your hosts, Steve Collins and Jake Stager.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. We're so excited to join us today. Before we jump in, I'd like to give a big shout out to our two sponsors. Excuse me. First of all, Dr. Dish, the number one shooting machine on the market, not only innovative in technology and customer service and so easy to set up and use. I think a 5-year-old could do it. I would not recommend it. It's not super safe, but it is a safe machine, but I wouldn't have a 5-year-old using it. I don't think they could get it over the net. Mention Coach Unplugged and they could give you $400 off. Also, go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. I started teachhoops.com because I was a high school coach. I wish this had been out there for me. You know, I've won at the highest level. We've won multiple state titles. We've been nationally ranked. But I wanted to share things that I thought would be helpful for a high school basketball coach or youth basketball coach, college basketball coach. And that's why I started teachhoops.com, to make you a better basketball coach. And that's why we do one-on-one calls and office hours, and why I give a 14-day free trial, because I want to help you. And if you only need 14 days, go kick the tires. Maybe that's all you need. But anyway, go over and check it out, and let's head off to the podcast.
All right, what's this week, Coach?
Well, last week we talked about establishing your first 2 weeks of your offense and your base offense. Now we want to address a question that from our Facebook page about defense. So, Coach, what is your aim, or what is your approach your first 2 weeks in regards to defense?
I think you mentioned this last week. I definitely try to get more things in defensively than on the offensive end.
Absolutely.
Just because I think I can disrupt you more early on the defensive end, because you're probably not going to have all your arsenal in, and I can have much more of my arsenal in defensively. So I try to really layer defenses. Like, I'm going to have a pressure defense. I'm going to have a half-court defense. And a lot of them are going to be based on the same principles. We'll maybe do a denying defense. We'll maybe do a special defense where we're going to take one or two players out of the game.
Right.
All that stuff.
Just little layers within what you already do.
Yes, but I'm going to have a lot of that in the first couple weeks, because a lot of kids play football, a lot of kids run cross country, a lot of kids play volleyball, a lot of kids so they haven't probably taken as many shots and done all of those things. So it can be. So I think I always feel like I have an advantage defensively early. If my kids are buying in and we're doing what we need to do, I always feel like I have an advantage. So I try to get more things in defensively. I also think it builds tone in your practices and in everything you do early. That, my teams have been good the last couple of years, but they haven't been exceptional, but they've been one of the best defensive teams in the Big Eight. If you just statistically look at it, we've been one of the best, because that's what we had to hang our hat on. It also helped with practice. It helped with, we're going to just stop people. We're going to try to stop Jalen, who's, going to be a lottery pick. now was at Duke last weekend visiting
right.
for his official visit. So, yeah, those kind of things is what we're working on. What do you think?
I think it really comes down to defense is about you got to have value. It's such an important thing, and you have to constantly recognize that effort in practice.
Right.
We are constantly often valuing the kids that can score 30 points a game, but can you defend? Can you stop people? It's huge.
You can't play for me if you can't defend.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now. I don't care how many points you
can
score.
And you can be a great X and O guy and so forth, but if you can't get your kids to play hard and play defense and rebound, it's going to be a long season for you. It really is.
It's the reason the saying's there, I think. Defense wins championships. I'm not convinced that's true. I am convinced that you have to sell your team on the defensive end.
Yeah,
that's why I think that quote works, I think, from that standpoint.
But I think it's harder as a high school coach because, people can work the ball a lot longer in our situation with a shot clock,
Right.
And so, some people only have to get their guys to buy into defense for 20 to 30 seconds at a time, so.
Right.
Which makes the game a truly a different game in the state of Wisconsin, which makes it so great. That's what I like about it. And so, and then defense is really about breaking it down. Really it's about the rotations. I think often defenses are broke down on the second, third, and fourth rotation. I mean, that's really the key is can you get your guys to rotate from side to side? That's huge.
And I think it's a communication thing too,
absolutely.
To be honest with you. And that's where you can, if they're talking on the defensive end, they're going to talk on the offensive end. And, that's where most breakdowns some of it's effort, but not really. Part of it is like you think you know where you want to go, but you may not. And if your teammates are helping you, that's where I want chaos. I want like the pointing and the talking, and
right,
and that can set that tone early.
Use this quote with all sports I coach. I said, and I coach soccer. I've coached everything, and so basketball. I've always said that a losing field or a losing court is a quiet court. You know what I mean? And a winning field, and if I'm yelling loud, I need to hear all of you doing that as well.
Right.
Because that's the way things work. Communication. Because then your players learn how to work smarter, not harder. Too often guys work too hard where they out of position and so forth. They can communicate and get in the right position. You can really save yourself and be able to do things better defensively and not pick up cheap fouls and so forth.
Right.
As well.
Yeah,
I also think like, the first 2 weeks of practice is really establishing kids not to get into foul trouble early defensively. That is a big thing. Because last year we did a podcast, What Wins Games Early, and I talked about the importance of not getting into foul trouble. To have your guys at the end of the game to win the game. And it's too often some of these guys, you especially got like maybe a sophomore kid or a junior kid that's just starting to get quality minutes at the highest level, they're turning to adapt because the speed of game is so much different at our level, at the varsity level, compared to what they were as a JV or freshman team. So, if they can be able to establish themselves on the foul game, I think that's huge from a defensive standpoint as well.
Yeah, and I'd give some advice to the young coaches. It's like if they get in foul trouble early in the season, sit them. Sit them. They'll learn very quickly that stupid reach foul, I don't get to play as much. Woo, yep.
Stop by Sherwin-Williams and get 30% off select paints and stains May 2nd through the 12th. It's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Refresh your home inside and out with colors that make every space feel brand new. From cozy interiors to stunning exteriors, we've got the perfect shade for your next project. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
So if you don't wait, you can't wait on that. You might it might hurt early, but it's going to be better.
And I think I don't mean to interrupt you, but I think it's really important. And I've been connecting with you for several years now. Is that defense? You don't have to be great at everything, but having a lot of different things is really, really important. And I think often we think we got to be really great at man-to-man, and that's it. I think it's better to have multiple things and be good at, average at some things and maybe good at one thing. Have different things, because getting a stop 2 or 3 times and then changing can really make a momentum change for a coach.
Yeah. Yes, especially in high school basketball, just because, if I was doing this for a living and I was coaching, I would go out and recruit. I'd be Tony. I would like Tony, go out and recruit guys that can score and play defense, like his pack line, great.
Right.
Same as Texas Tech, that's what they're going to get. If you can, but as a high school coach, you can't do that. So
right, because they're only playing defense for 30 seconds at a time.
Right.
We got to be able to be creative. We have to be creative. Well, that just makes the game that more exciting. And sometimes there is a point in a game where you may have not even run the zone defense, but for a possession, you might have to do it. You might have to think outside the box. You gotta. It's just how it is. Sometimes.
I mean, I swear to God, I lost the state title to Tosa East, and he played 2-3 zone. He hadn't played it all year. We weren't ready, and it was enough to just change the tempo enough. It's like, oh my God, it's like. We basically had 20 of their 22 games, and they never played 2-3. And then he drew it up. He said it in the post game. He drew it up, and because it was enough to change the momentum from us. So to get them moving, those kind of things.
But I also think the last thing is I think changing defense keeps kids engaged throughout the game.
Yeah.
If you constantly play the same defense over and over, it becomes monotonous and boring. And we're in a Snapchat world, as you always say, right? So if you can imitate that with defense, it constant changes. All right, we're going to change to this app right now, back to this app, do. Kids like that. Kids like that constant change. It almost becomes a challenge, and it almost becomes fun for them,
Right. It does, and it definitely becomes a challenge. All right, those are good. Those are good things to think about, coaches. You got anything else on that, Coach?
No.
Small-sided games, small stuff again. Don't you got to teach about if you're pushing baseline, how are you going to push baseline? How are you going to handle screens? All those kinds of things. You can't get all that in 2 weeks. I get it. Look at your first couple opponents. What are they going to do with you? How are they going to attack you? And then adjust to that. People are listening. This is high school hoops. You probably have a gut about what your first couple opponents are going to be, how they're going to handle screens, or how are you going to handle screens, or how are they going, all that I think is really important because you can't get through all of it, and you don't have to do the minuscule things you hear on clinics. Don't. It will blow your mind away. But
all right. Question of the day today is, oh man, I'm gonna just quickly.
Don't have one?
I don't have one.
Okay.
I know.
What do I want for Christmas?
There you go.
What do
you want for Christmas, Coach?
What do I want for Christmas? That's good. I would say a state title, but I won't say that. I will say that I want my son to get into his first choice for college. That's what I'll say. And I won't say what it is because I won't jinx it. But that's okay. Yeah.
What do I want for Christmas?
And if the coach is listening to this, hopefully it's good at this point. We'll have the application in by the time this goes up, but we won't know yet. So go.
I think I just want to be able to spend some extra time with my family and do something fun over the holiday break. That's all I want for Christmas. Yeah.
What's the song? All I want for Christmas is my
two front teeth.
Yeah, I got those. Not real because I dove into a wall when I was in 5th grade, but
that's I got the
ball though. I got the ball.
There you go.
That's another story. All right, and one was a wall, one was a shoulder in college.
Really?
I pulled it out of the kid's shoulder. Yep.
Did the tooth go through your lip?
No, the tooth broke off.
Oh my God!
Shoulder bone. Yeah, and then I had to pull it out. It was pretty bad.
Wicked.
Yeah, so I would look like Dumb and Dumber if you've ever seen the movie. I mean, it wasn't the whole tooth; it was like the little crooked parts. So
sometimes our questions of the day just are quite entertaining for all our listeners. So
I hope you like those.
Hey, again, we don't edit this, right? We're real basketball players.
We're live.
Real basketball coaches, real dads, real teachers. Just waiting.
Yes, this is
real husbands. We are
real.
all real.
All right.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.